Excuse me? Bien corta.
¿Qué tan corta?
A
ver, órale.
¿Sí? ¿Está bien? Okay. Bueno, ¿aquí sentado? Ok.
Pero usted tiene que estar sentado también.
Okay. Okay. You ready? Are you ready? All right. This is David Dragon right here for Reality Check. I got an exclusive with the legend himself, Mil Masacras. How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Everything
All
right.
right. Now, it's up to you, Mil Mascaras. You want me to do the interview in Spanish or you want me to do it in English?
Well, it's English and Spanish, but Spanish is better for me because it's my language, you know.
All right. So I'm going to ask him a couple of questions in English first, all right? And then you guys can do the translation at the bottom. Quería saber el origen de la máscara. ¿Cómo empezó?
Bueno, Mil Máscaras o las máscaras en sí.
Mil Máscaras.
Bueno, Mil Máscaras nace en una revista que se llama Luchas Libre y después empieza a luchar y se convierte en una estrella grande en México, hace cine y lo viene a los Estados Unidos con el mismo éxito.
¿Y en qué año empezaste a luchar?
En el 66.
66. Y,
aquí en Estados Unidos el 68.
Sí.
Yo de hecho started en 62, 1962. 66.
Uh-oh. No. We're clearing the rumors as we go. Y ahora, ¿qué podría decirme en todos los años que has estado luchando, cuál ha sido tu lucha más dura? ¿Contra quién?
Bueno, he tenido muchas luchas difíciles en Japón, en Europa, aquí en los Estados Unidos sobre todo. Entonces, pues ha sido lo mismo. He luchado en el Olympic Auditorium, en el Jaopan, en el Madison Square Garden, en Houston, en todos los Estados Unidos. O sea, he tenido luchas difíciles, entonces no puedo decir cuál es la más difícil.
Okay. Y dime sobre el luchador El Santo, otro luchador bien famoso de México. ¿Usted ha luchado contra él o siempre han sido amigos?
No, el Santo, ahora el hijo del Santo sí que está luchando. Luchamos el martes pasado de compañeros en Ciudad Miguel Alemán, pegada a Roma, Texas. El martes pasado con el Santo yo trabajé muchas veces de compañero, pero hicimos películas. Hicimos películas, 3 de ellas, una de Las momias de Guanajuato, muy famosa por cierto, fue la película que más dinero hizo en el cine mexicano ese año. Y luego Las misteriosas Bermudas, que también hizo mucho dinero en esa época.
Danny, got any questions for Mil Mascaras?
Yeah, I remember watching you in the early 80s. It was a program entitled Lucha Libre. It was like from the Olympic Auditorium. And I remember you had a feud with a guy named Mean Mike Masters, and you had a mask versus hair match. And were you the one that kind of started that mask versus hair thing?
No, in Mexico it's usual wrestling mask against hair. And here in the United States, yes, I think so. This is the first time to do it in the United States. Again, the Black Gorman. This is 1968 and 69 too. 68 and 69.
And Bull Ramos, I think?
And Bull Ramos too. Yeah. This is 3 matches I remember. You remember better than I.
Okay, now just do some in English. Now, which country do you look most forward to wrestling as far as the fans?
Well, I'm going more to Japan. It's the country I be there by 100-something times. And I go 2-3 times a year. But we come here to the United States to wrestle almost. I stay here, I'm wrestling here sometimes 2-3 times a week too,
And what do you do to keep in shape? You look like you're in amazing shape. What do you do, regimen, everyday exercises do you do to keep in shape?
Work out. The only way is to work out and running for 5 kilometers every 3 days, and work out by an hour and a half the weights. So we take good food and stay in shape, because in this profession you need to stay in shape.
Now, out of the what do you I'm sorry, what do you think of the state of wrestling today, as far as the wrestling state of today's WWF and WCW, as far as what's going on?
Look at his face.
Terrible. He was the real deal.
Yeah. I mean, this is wrestling. This is wrestling. But what do you think about the state of wrestling today, professionals?
I don't have opinion. It's very hard to say,
It's all show business now.
I don't say nothing.
Yeah, okay. No comment. No comment.
You got a question? Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted to know what's happening with Mascaras. You used to tag team with him.
My brother, he and I wrestled last month in Japan. Yana is the tag team champion in Japan, and we wrestled together for 2 weeks in Japan, and Kyoto, Osaka, Nagoya, Kobe, and this next July and August, I plan to go together too again. We go to Pakistan, India, and Singapore, and Japan too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. This is also not just for Reality Check, which is a great and fabulous show all around the world, but Canvas Cavity. Mil Mascaras, the god of wrestling. Basically, it started with you. When Mike LaBelle brought you into the Los Angeles Olympic Auditorium, you were the very first to sort of integrate Lucha Libre style. And a lot of the guys at that time, Freddie Blassie, for example, or Don Carson or Buddy Austin, they had to adapt their style, and it was revolutionary. No one had ever done that, and you were the first guy to come in, really, and bring the whole style and make the guys work on the other side. Was that, did you know how groundbreaking you were, how big you were?
Well, I think I don't make any innovation, the wrestling is wrestling all the time, and make it more fast. Yeah, I know. I make it more fast, that's all. I make it fast, and another thing, have a good body, have a muscle body, and the people like it, and make scissors, fly tackles all over, or side inside. As I may move myself, and the wrestling before used just a one hole. I stay there for 5, 15, 20 minutes, and I started make the everything, nothing new. It's just a wrestling, Mexican wrestling.
Let me see those pictures. These are pictures I took of you many, many years. And for example, here's two guys you know very well, Gorman and Goliath. Twice he lost his hair, and very good, fast matches. United States people weren't so used to so many bumps, and it was exciting.
The people like it, like my style, and the style is wrestling, Mexican wrestlers, and they're wrestling with all over, with all wrestling, Lutes and Johnny Valentine and Killer Cox and Bajo McDaniel, and all the big stars in this time. What can I say? It's good matches only,
And then history, when Eddie Einhorn brought you in for the IWA, which is a world championship you still hold. Believe you, still IWA champion since about 1975.
I stayed champion in last month in Japan. The name of the town is Kawasaki, Japan. I have the fence, the bell. Yeah, big one. And what can you say? They have the
Well, you're a god there. The fans, when you go to Japan, it's thousands and thousands.
People like it. People like Mil Masacras.
So that brings me to your feud with the Destroyer in 1973. It was one of the biggest feuds in all of wrestling. It was huge. The media went crazy. What do you remember about, working, I think, for Shohei Baba and the Destroyer, the big series?
Well, I wrestled with Destroyer here in California in the Olympic Auditorium by 1968, and really terrific wrestler, good technique wrestler. And I wrestled again in Buffalo, New York, and another time in Chicago, and in Japan a few times, and really the people like him, and it's terrific wrestling, really.
Let me throw out some names of different people you've wrestled then, or promoters actually. How about Paul Bosch? Was he a promoter you liked working for?
I wrestle with anyone, anybody call me and go. I wrestle in Germany, I wrestle in French, I wrestle in Italy, I wrestle all over, and people like it, and go back again, and go back again, and go back again. Paul Bosch is a gentleman of the wrestler. He's really, really the best promoter, and party promoter this time. This is in the South Texas, and the other side of like New York, so the old man, Binks McMahon is really, really gentleman. Is really, really good man, And what can I say? There are different men, and the booking here in California, Mr. Moto, Mike LaBelle, when I first time I'm coming here to California to wrestle in 1968, Mrs. Eaton she's the boss, and Jules Stromble, Is the, Charlie Moore, the matchmaker. Is when I start myself here, and well, I have good luck. Is all the people like it, Mil Mascaras, and Mil Mascaras stay wrestling.
I think you sold out the Olympic Auditorium more times than any other. For Reality Check, they're going to probably ask, the movie career, has that been on hold, or you still do occasionally movies? What was the last movie you did?
When I make one movie, it's just last, the True of Wrestling, and the last one is the La Llave Mortal. Yeah, this is the last two movies I make. And I have plans to do something this year too.
I'd like to know what has been your toughest opponent, the opponent that you maybe look the most forward to wrestling and not to look forward to wrestling.
Well, the top is when you put the mask, against and those in solitary wrestling. Wrestling with solitarios, wrestling with Halcón a few times too, again masks, But I'm gonna say all matches is not so easy, not so easy. Entonces I don't say this or those.
So where are you up to now? Where are you going to wrestle now, and who are you wrestling against?
Wrestling tomorrow in Tijuana. I don't know.
You don't know yet?
I never asking. I never asking opening. And travel all over, and I never asking.
Bill Apter said you're his very favorite wrestler. George Napolitano, Bill Apter, Mil Mascaras, #1 with them. Raul Reyes just passed away, and he was not just a great wrestler, but he was sort of a peacemaker behind the scenes. What can you say about Raul Reyes in terms of helping promote and all of that in Mexico City?
Well, he wrestled before. He's heavyweight. He 120 kilos, and he is one of the have a lot of ability in the ring, because he before is work in the circus, and after he be a promoter, and he opened a lot of small arenas, and he working hard in the business, in the wrestling business, and his son now stay working too, Raul Reyes is a very good friend of mine, and God take care.
You got any questions there?
I want to know if there's any wrestlers currently active that you've trained personally. I want just a few names.
Never train nobody. No, nobody. No, never train nobody. I don't have time to. I have just training myself.
Actually, yeah, I got another one. I wanted to know your thoughts on the when you wrestled the Royal Rumble for a couple of years ago. I just wanted just what you thought of it and what it was like to do that after all those used to wrestle for them 20 years ago.
The last Royal Rumble I wrestled in San Antonio, Texas, and I don't know the rules. I suppose the rules is same rules all over, And I make this jump outside, and I try to go back, and don't give me chance. I suppose you lose when somebody troll you, when you go together, you yourself, Change the rules, I don't know.
It was a great movie. I love that flying body press. You took those guys out. You were like the old pro, kind of directing traffic in there. I noticed you were kind of directing a lot of traffic, and then
you looked shocked when you found out you were eliminated.
Yeah, but I try to do something for the people, respect them too.
This was actually the other company, WCW, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, who said to this day, the toughest bump he ever took, he had the match with you, and I don't know if you remember, this was, I think, a Clash of the Champions for TV. He hit the back of his head and neck, and everybody in the arena heard it. Cactus Jack, this was about 5-6 years ago. And he said he's had a lot of concussions, but he said the toughest one he ever had was with you.
I wrestled a few times with him, but the one is in Corpus Christi, maybe, is when he take to the hospital to him.
So it brings me, he's got that book, and hopefully I think fans are clamoring for a Mil Mascaras autobiography, which I think in Japan, Japan, Mexico, and the United States, big. Is that on the horizon? Can people maybe, hopefully...
I try to do it, I start to doing a lot of right, to think what Mascaras is doing, from one place to other. And I expect I have pictures and I have many things to, in the future, maybe do some book.
Bueno, Mil Mascaras, es un placer, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, nice to meet you. And can you give us a...
Oh, de nada.